Yo, Chad, I'm starting to hear around that Johnny. They ain't got fake jury. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. It's just through the grapevine. We finna watch this video, see if his jury is fake or if it's real. Let's do it.
Everybody who's watching, if you got anything from Johnny, check that shit because
I always wanted some diamond grills from Johnny Dang. I ain't gonna lie. And a fat ass pendant.
that boy be putting that CBD shit in y'all shit. And I've had several clients who come in and they'll be like, bro, why my shit get tested CBD? Well, I don't fucking know shit. Y'all gotta ask Johnny, bro. That's Johnny's fucking, that's Johnny's production.
Johnny Dang, the man that basically built the entire rap jewelry game from the ground up, the man that rappers been shouting out in songs for decades, the man who went from fixing watches at a flea market in Houston to having Beyonce, Travis Scott, and Gucci Mane all pulling up to his shop. But here's the thing, gang. And this is where it gets crazy. There are people out here saying this man has been selling fake diamonds. Not just random people on the internet, not just some haters in the comment section. We're talking about his own former employee going on camera and exposing him. We're talking about Chief Keef.
I ain't gonna lie, Chad. It was a point in time. I ain't really like all that jury shit. I still don't. I don't like fucking chains and shit. It's like, bro, spending unnecessary amount of money on some jury is fucking crazy. But you know, niggas say they do it because they coming from the bottom and they want to shine. You feel me? But you know, that's them niggas.
Chief Keef feeling like he had to go prove that his Johnny Dang jewelry was real. And then we got these diamond tester videos floating around on the internet that got people questioning everything. So today we're breaking it all down. Every single layer of this story. And I promise you, by the time we get to the end of this video, to Johnny Dang's actual response to all of this, your jaw is going to be on the floor. So do not click off. I'm not even playing with y'all right now. Let's get into it. But wait, before we get into all the drama, let me break down who this man actually is. Because some of y'all might be sleeping on just how big Johnny Dang really is. So get this. Johnny Dang was born in Vietnam in 1973. His grandfather and his father were both in the jewelry trade. So this man literally came from a jewelry bloodline. In 1996, when he was 23 years old, he moved to Houston, Texas with basically nothing. He started working with his brother at a flea market, fixing watches and doing jewelry repairs. A flea market, gang, no big store, no fancy showroom, just a booth at a flea market in Houston. But here's where it starts getting good. He opens his first actual store called TV Jewelry at Sharpstown Mall in Houston in 1998. And he starts making these custom grills, custom diamond grills for teeth. And in 2002, he links up with Paul Wall, the rapper, and they go into business together. And from that point, it's over. The whole rap game started flooding to this man's shop. We're talking Gucci Mane, Travis Scott, Migos, Chief Keef, Lil Pump, 21 Savage. Beyonce pulled up to get grills. Nelly made a whole song called Grills that was basically a Johnny Dang commercial. That Mexican OT literally made a song in his honor in 2023. This man has appeared in music videos, he's been shouted out on records, he became a cultural icon. So when people start saying this man is selling fake jewelry, you understand why that's such a massive deal. Because his whole brand, his whole legacy, his whole identity is built on being the most authentic jeweler in the game.
And it's fucking crazy. Because that makes you look bad, gang. That makes you look bad.
So let's talk about what actually happened. Aight gang, so this is where it gets interesting. And I want y'all to really picture this scene because it's honestly hilarious when you think about it. Chief Keef, Sosa, one of the hardest rappers to ever come out of Chicago, felt like he had to go to K Jewelers, not to buy something, not to get a gift for somebody. He went to K Jewelers specifically to test his Johnny Dang jewelry and prove to people that his diamonds were real. Brother Chief Keef went to the mall to get his chain tested. Let that sink in for a second. So what happened was, there was doubt floating around online about whether the pieces Keef got from Johnny Dang were actually authentic. People were looking at his pendant and his diamond watch and saying, nah, those don't look right. That's not real. And instead of just ignoring it, Keef decided to address it head on. He pulled up to K Jewelers in California with his Johnny Dang pendant and his diamond watch, and he ran the diamond tester on both pieces. And the tester came back green. Green light means real. And Sosa went online and posted about it like, when you see green, Who's smart enough to know what that means? And that was supposed to be the end of it. But here's the thing, gang, and this is where it gets crazy. The fact that Chief Keef felt like he even had to do that says everything. This is a rapper who spent serious money with this jeweler, and the doubt was so real, so widespread, that he physically drove to a mall jewelry store to get his stuff tested. That's not nothing. That means the rumors were loud enough to reach SOSA, and Keef defending Dang's work publicly actually helped the brand at the time. But it also accidentally put the question out there for everyone to ask, wait, why were people doubting in the first place? And that question never fully went away, because a few years later it came back way louder. Y'all are not ready for this part, so we established that Chief Keef tested his own jewelry, but then regular people, content creators, jewelry reviewers, random fans started doing their own diamond tester videos on Johnny Dang pieces. And the results? Let's just say they were not all coming back clean. Videos started floating around on TikTok and YouTube of people running diamond testers on Johnny Dang's grills and chains and getting results that raised some eyebrows. Some pieces passed. Some pieces? Not so much. And every time one of those videos dropped, the comment sections went absolutely crazy. Now here's what you need to understand about diamond testers though. And this is important because I don't want to put out wrong information. Not all diamond testers are built the same. There are cheap ones that give false readings. There are also newer diamond alternatives like moissanite that can fool certain testers. And lab-grown diamonds, which look identical to natural diamonds, can test differently depending on the device being used. And in fact, Johnny Dang himself addressed this when talking about lab-grown diamonds. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, that the difference between a lab diamond and a natural diamond is nearly impossible to see with the naked eye, that even a regular consumer cannot tell the difference, which is true. But that also means if someone paid for natural diamonds and got lab-grown ones, they'd have no idea. And that is exactly what the rumors started suggesting, that people were paying for natural diamonds and not necessarily getting what they paid for. Now, nobody took Johnny Dang to court over this. No rapper came out with a receipt and a lawsuit, but the chatter was there, and it was getting louder, and then the real bomb dropped. So in April of 2021, a man named Jose Mata, who goes by Plug Gio, went on camera and basically blew the whole thing up. And who was Plug Gio? He was a former employee of Johnny Dang, someone who worked inside the operation, someone who knew how the shop worked from the inside out. And this man went on camera and claimed, on record, that Johnny Dang was selling rappers fake diamonds. Bro, I'm not even lying. His own employee, someone who worked for him, went public with these allegations. Now think about how damaging that is. It's one thing when internet people...
You think he mad because he couldn't get a discount? Huh? You think he mad because he couldn't get that 100% discount? I don't know, but we're gonna continue watching.
People speculate. It's one thing when a diamond tester gives a funny reading, but when someone who was literally inside your business, who watched how the pieces were made, who saw the transactions go down, who knows where the diamonds came from, when that person comes out and says something is off, that hits different. That's not a rumor. Now, of course, Johnny Dang's side fired back. His official business page confirmed that Mata had in fact worked for him and said that Mata abruptly quit in April of 2021, which is the same time this drama started popping off. And you can draw your own conclusions about why a man suddenly leaves a job and then immediately starts making videos accusing his former boss of fraud. But here's what makes it even messier. Plug Gio didn't just disappear after making those claims. He kept building his own jewelry career, and eventually he's the one who linked up with Sauce Walka to create what they called the world's first permanent $1 million grill. And when Sauce Walka revealed that grill, he said on camera, "I'm gonna take out Johnny Dang's and put in the Gios," basically saying his old pieces weren't up to par and he was upgrading. And when Johnny Dang heard about that, he responded. He told Sauce Walka, you don't need to put my name in there, but if you mention my name, put some respect on my name." No cap, that's actually crazy, because now you got a whole public situation where a rapper is publicly switching from Johnny Dang to his former employee, and that former employee is the same one who made the fake diamond accusations. The whole thing is layered, gang. But wait, because it's not just the fake diamond angle. There's another part of this story that people don't talk about enough, and it hits just as hard. Lil Durk, one of the biggest names in rap right now, went on his Instagram story and basically told the whole industry that jewelers are out here scamming people. And not just small local jewelers. He was talking about the big names. He wrote, "Stop buying all this jewelry without knowing what you're doing. A lot of the shady fake and some is overpriced. Get one jeweler and stick to him. I'm telling you, y'all gonna be pissed when when the truth come out. Y'all seeing this? When Lil Durk says the truth is gonna come out, people listen. This is a man who has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on jewelry throughout his career. He knows the game. He knows these jewelers, and he's warning people that a lot of what's being sold out here is fake or overpriced. And then later he went even further. He posted, "Don't blame the rapper or athletes anymore. Blame the jeweler for selling them that bogus stuff." He's literally redirecting the entire blame. He's saying, when you see a rapper with fake jewelry, stop laughing at the rapper. Go look at who sold it to them. Now, Durk didn't say Johnny Dang by name. I want to be clear about that. But he did say that at least 20 rappers he knows personally are walking around with fake jewelry that they paid real money for. 20. From major jewelers. Gang, that's not a small accusation. And then there's the overcharging angle. See, this is something that people in the know have whispered about for years. Johnny Dang himself actually said in an interview that he charges less than other jewelers. He said, if he charges $30,000 for a piece, another jeweler would charge double just because the client is a rapper or an athlete. And he framed that as a positive, like he's the fair one. But here's the flip side of that. When your name becomes the brand, when rappers are literally putting your name in songs, you start charging a premium just for the name itself. And some people started questioning whether that premium was always justified, whether they were paying for actual diamonds or paying for the clout of saying, yeah, I got mine from Johnny Dang. That's a real conversation that the jewelry world has been having. And it ties directly into why the fake diamond rumors hurt so much. Because if you're overcharging and the quality is questionable, that's a serious problem for the brand. And real quick, gang, let me hit y'all with something that not a lot of people know about. This one goes back to 2014. So Johnny Dang did this promotional deal tied to an NBA All-Star game. He was pushing watches as part of it, and something went wrong with the deal. Wrong enough that he had to refund close to $200,000. Now, in the interview where he talked about this, he framed it as no big deal. He said the next day after the refund situation, he sold 35 watches in one day. So the business was still moving, and the refund wasn't connected to any claims of fake diamonds. It was more about the promotion falling through. But here's why it matters in this conversation. It showed that even Johnny Dang's operation is not perfect. There have been moments where customers were unhappy enough to demand their money back. At the scale he operates at, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars moving through that shop. Even one bad situation can snowball if people are already looking at you sideways. And in 2021, when the Plug Geo situation popped off, people went back and started connecting dots that maybe didn't even belong together. That's what happens when your reputation takes a hit. Every old story gets new life. Aight, gang, this is what y'all have been waiting for. This is the part I promised you at the beginning. Because through all of this, the Diamond Tester videos, the Plug Geo accusations, the Sauce Walka situation, Lil Durk's warnings, Johnny Dang did not stay quiet. First, on the Plug Geo situation, Dang's official response was to put it into context. He confirmed that Geo was a former employee who left abruptly. The implication was clear. This is a disgruntled ex-worker trying to damage a brand he no longer had access to. And in the business world, that framing actually holds weight, because we've seen this pattern before where someone leaves a company on bad terms and then starts making allegations. It doesn't mean the allegations are false, but it does give context for why they're being made. On the Sauce Walka situation, this is where Dang showed the most emotion. When Sauce went public about switching jewelers and basically said he was upgrading from Johnny Dang to Plug Geo, Dang came out and said, "I always support Houston families, the community, the city where I started from the bottom. It's all good. You can shop around the world. You don't need to put my name in there. But if you mention my name, put some respect on my name." Oh my God, that's cold. That's actually cold, because he didn't go crazy. He didn't
Oh my God, that's cold. That's cold.
threaten anybody. He didn't even deny anything directly. He just said, if you're going to use my name, use it with respect. That's the response of a man who is secure in what he built. That's the response of someone who knows his legacy is bigger than one rapper switching jewelers. And Sauce Walka, he actually kept it real in the comments. He wrote back saying there were no hard feelings, that Dang was still a GOAT, and that he just wanted his pictures on the wall like the out-of-town artists get. Which tells you that even Sauce, who publicly switched, still respects the man. On the Diamond Tester videos and the general fake jewelry rumors, Dang has been smart about this. Instead of going defensive, he actually started posting his own diamond testing content. He's been on TikTok showing his process, showing his stones, and calling out the street jewelers who copy his style and sell inferior product. He positioned himself as the standard, the one people are trying to copy, the one who's out here exposing the fakes, not being exposed. He even publicly talked about the lab-grown diamond debate, being transparent about the difference between natural and lab diamonds and making clear that his high-end clientele wants natural. That kind of transparency is calculated, gang. He's getting ahead of the conversation instead of running from it. And here's the thing that caps off this entire story. Despite all of this drama, the ex-employee, the diamond testers, the Lil Durk warnings, the Sauce Walker situation, rappers are still pulling up to Johnny Dang's shop. That Mexican OT, Paul Wall, IShowSpeed getting his first grills there, R&B Faux Mob spending $2 million on pieces from him. The business did not collapse. The brand did not crumble. Because at the end of the day, in this industry, loyalty is everything, and Johnny Dang has been loyal to the culture since before most of these rappers were relevant. He came from nothing. He built something real. And when the smoke cleared on all this drama, his name was still on the wall. And that, gang, is the full story of one of the most controversial jeweler situations in hip-hop history. We went from Chief Keef running to K Jewelers to prove his chain was real, to a whole ex-employee blowing up the spot on camera, to Lil Durk warning the entire industry that the truth was about to come out. And we ended right back at Johnny Dang still standing tall in Houston like none of it ever happened. That's actually crazy when you think about it. But yo, if you learned something new today, you already know what to do. Drop a like on this video. It genuinely helps the channel.
All I would say is Johnny Chain. Johnny Dang got real chains. Nah, nigga said Johnny Chain.